Tactician Adjunct Soren Kell stabbed the command note. Initiate live fire capture drill. Protocol Zeta. 9. Target Lieutenant Mara Vance's convoy. Drones. Establish dominance lanes now. His console ignited with feeds. 20 hunter drones surged from the ridgeline launchers, plasma vents glowing. Below, the human convoy snaked along the cracked trade road. 3 armored transports, engines growling, dust plumes marking their path. Intel pegged Vance as the prize. A captured infantry officer, convoy bound for extraction. Doctrine modeled this perfectly. Superior fire would force compliance, yield behavioral data to validate weapon system theory. Lead drone fired warning bursts. Violet plasma scorched the dirt 20 meters ahead of Vance's transport. Secondary drones flanked, cutting escape vectors. Per simulation, humans halted 92% of the time, hands raised. Vance's vehicle did not stop. It surged forward. Tires chewed gravel, then wrenched right, metal screeching as the driver rammed it nose first into the drainage ditch. The transport slewed, hull grinding rock blocking the road like a cork in a bottle. Rear vehicles braked hard, fanning into cover behind boulders. Soren's primary mandibles parted. Deviation confirmed. Lead vehicle denied clean lanes. Recalibrate drone fire for ditch assault. Flankers, suppress the flanks. Drones pivoted mid-air. Plasma lanced down, splashing off the ditched transport's reinforced belly. No kill shots. Protocol demanded Vance alive for interrogation modeling. Soren cross-checked telemetry. Human armor held, but doctrine accounted for that. They would dismount, form ranks, surrender under pinned fire. No dismount came. From the second transport, Sergeant Ilya Rook's squad piled out. Scans ID'd him. Blunt-faced NCO, Vance's enforcer. They dragged crates, crouched low. Rook yanked panels from a wrecked supply pallet. Smoke canisters, standard human obscurants, marked obsolete by Allied intel. He jammed wires from a jury-rigged battery pack into the valves. Soren leaned into his display. Secondary anomaly. Humans deploying non-standard countermeasures. Drones. Acquire Rook's position. Lethal force on support personnel authorized. Drone gunners dove. Sights locking. Rook twisted the battery leads. Canisters hissed. Thick, choking smoke erupted, not the thin veil of old models but a battery-accelerated torrent, propelled like a missile exhaust. Gray-black clouds billowed skyward, density spiking 400% beyond specs. Drone feeds flickered. Visual degradation. A gunner droned over comms. Sensors blinded. Collision imminent. 3 drones plowed into the murk. Hulls crumpling on hidden rocks. 5 more spiraled, firing blind. Plasma scorched empty air. Soren's secondary claws gripped the console edge. Mark humans as non-compliant variables. Smoke yield exceeds model by factor of 6. Abort drill phase. Escalate to lethal containment. He patched through to command deck. Field Marshal Vekra Thal's hologram snapped into view. Her crest flared in irritation. Adjunct Kell. Report. This was to be clean validation, not a scramble. Marshal, humans deviate from all combat models. Vance rammed to foul lanes. Her sergeant improvised smoke deployment. Obsolete canisters supercharged via vehicle battery. Drones neutralized. 40% losses. Request ground battalion deployment. Full extermination protocol. Ekra's optics narrowed. Her status rode on flawless doctrine demos. Deviations meant demotion. Approved. No survivors. Crush them, Kell, or I will find an adjunct who can. Soren, cut the link. Battalion. Advance. Stalkers to the fore. Heavy plasma arrays in support. Contain and purge. The ridgeline thrummed. 60 stalker troopers boiled over the crest. 8-legged frames, vibro-claws extended, energy lances primed. Behind, plasma arrays hummed to life, siege-grade beams that doctrine deemed unbeatable in open engagement. Humans fought scripted. Massed charges, predictable volleys. Stalkers would shred them. Smoke thinned. Vance's ditched transport hatch blew open. She emerged first. Carbine leveled. Face a mask of controlled fury. No wild screams. No panic scatter. Disciplined bounds to cover. Rook flanked her, lugging a fresh crate. Scans caught the rig. He fused stalker wreckage. Salvaged drone power cells. With human grenades, casings pried open under fire. Stalkers! Engage! Soren barked. Lances spat blue fire. First rank of humans dropped prone. Vance's squad returned fire. Old slug throwers. pinging off stalker armor. Ineffective. Per model. Then Rook triggered his bomb. The improvised charge detonated in a stalker's midst. Shrapnel from drone cells, shredded joints. Overloaded cells, cooked internals. 4 stalkers spasmed, legs folding. Chain reaction. Secondary blasts ripped through the pack. Vance pressed. Her fire team flanked the gap, grenades arcing into the arrays. One beam platform tilted, firing wild, vaporized its own stalkers. Soren's feeds choked with static. Reform lines. Arrays. Elevate. Too late. Rook's next rig, a battery-boosted flak launcher from Transport Hydraulics, spewed canister shot. Slug clouds pulped drone remnants overhead, clipped array servos. Vance's carbine barked precise, headshots on stalker controllers exploiting the chaos. Stalkers milled, doctrine locked. No improv protocols, their model forbade it. Humans flowed like water, turning junk into fangs. Casualty ticker spun. 30% battalion gone. 50%. Vekra's voice crackled. Cal, what is this? Marshal, they fight outside the model. Every scrap a weapon. A final blast. Rook's masterwork. Smoke-choked plasma cell wired to the ditched transport's fuel. The fireball engulfed the stalker core. Vance's convoy survivors mounted up, engines roaring free. Soren's last feed died in flames. The test ended. Data acquired. Humans turned validation into extermination. But whose? Soren Kell stabbed the deploy icon. Precision walkers, 8-legged hunters with flawless targeting matrices, poured into the ravine. Their beam arrays hummed, locking onto heat signatures below. Finish the equation! Soren barked into the command net. Stalkers! Suppress. Walkers. Neutralize. Vekra Thal's hologram flickered on his console. No delays, Cal. Validate the model now. The ravine feed sharpened. Human positions dotted the floor. Rocks. Wrecked drones. A single squad hunkered behind a toppled transport. Lieutenant Vance crouched there, her carbine steady. Slug rounds cracked up at the stalkers overhead. Ineffective pings on alloy plating. Model confirmed. Human kinetics too slow for direct assault. Walkers descended in perfect formation. Legs clicked over boulders. Sensors swept low, painting targets. Primary beams lanced down. Rock vaporized. A human scream cut short. Soren's casualty tracker blinked. 1 down, equation balancing. Then the humans moved. Vance waved her squad forward. They darted under the walkers' bellies low to the dust. Shadows swallowed them. Walker sensors elevated. Doctrinal response to low threat zones. Blind spot engaged. Arrays depress angles. Soren snapped. Feeds jittered as walkers pivoted. Too slow. Vance's team struck. Knives flashed. They slashed sensor cables at the knee joints. Severed bundles sparked. One walker staggered. Its left array firing wild. Beamed a stalker's flank clean off. Shrapnel rained. Soren's console lit with errors. Compensate. Redundant sweeps. 2 more walkers bucked. Cables whipped free. Their targeting choked. Beams scorched empty ravine walls. Vans rolled clear. Her voice crackled over intercepted human comms. Rook, your turn. Make it count. Sergeant Rook knelt amid the junk pile. He yanked a breaching charge from his pack. Standard demo kit, meant for doors. Fingers flew. He wedged it with scavenged struts. Shaped the blast cone from a drone fuel cell. Wires twisted bare. Timer set. Gotcha! Rook grunted. He slapped it against a walker's rear pylon. The beast sensed mass anomaly. Leg pistons whirred to reposition. Boom. Shaped blast punched upward. Walker's support strut buckled inward. The machine toppled, massive frame crashing into its own kin. 2 stalkers pulped under the fall. Arrays tangled, firing in spasms. Ravine filled with ozone and screams. Soren gripped his console. Impossible. Improvised yields don't breach walker plating. Vekra's hologram swelled. Explain this deviation, Cal. Model predicted 98% suppression in Phase 3, there, underneath. Doctrine doesn't model subchassis assault. Soren keyed overrides. Walkers, elevate crush protocols. Stalkers, converge. Remaining walkers stomped harder, legs pulverized rock. But humans slithered like vermin. Vance directing fire upward, slugs snapping at exposed joints. One walker seized. Its controller pod vented plasma. Roke laughed over comms, raw, defiant. One more, LT.
Gimme that wreck.
He dragged a fallen stalker's power core. Ripped hydraulics from the transport husk. Battery boost rigged in seconds. Flak launcher born from scrap. Soren watched the feed in horror. Humans turned battlefield refuse into fangs. His battalion's casualty ticker spun. 20%. 35%. Enough chaos, Soren snarled. He punched the weapon system override. Deploy stun webs. Clean capture. Validate on live subjects. Emergency pods hissed from orbit. Webs plummeted. Neural filaments. Doctrine perfect for non-lethal takedowns. They bloomed over the ravine, shimmering nets seeking biosigns. Vance's squad froze mid-flank. Webs snagged 2 privates. They convulsed, dropped. Got him! Sorian's analyst pinged. Feeds locked on Vance. She knelt by Rook, prying web strands with her knife. But Rook didn't stop. His flak rig coughed canister shots skyward. Slug clouds shredded web filaments overhead. Struts from the transport jury rigged as baffles, turned it into a monster shotgun. Webs shredded. Residual charge arced wild, zapping a stalker's array. Platform tilted, beam sweeping its own walkers. Soren's primary feed whited out. Reform. Arrays independent fire. Vance surged up. Carbine barked. Precise headshots on walker controllers. Exposed now. Optics cracked. Machines milled. Protocols jammed. No improvisation subroutine. Doctrine forbade unknowns. Rook's next blast. Breaching charge reborn as a strut buster. He lobbed it under the lead walker. Detonation sheared legs. The beast collapsed into its pack, chain crashing 3 more. Secondary fires bloomed from ruptured cells. Saurian's console screamed alarms. Battalion losses, 60%. Vekra's voice thundered. Kel, abort the test or die with it. Humans fight outside the model, Soren hissed, every scrap. A shadow crossed his aux feed. Vance's squad flanked the last array. Grenades arced true into servo housings. Platform bucked, beam vaporizing its stalkers. Rook unveiled his masterwork. Smoke from a choked plasma cell, wired to the transport's fuel tank. He triggered it remote. Fireball erupted, walker core engulfed. Feeds choked to static. Sori slammed recall. Too late. Human convoy engines roared. Vance's survivors mounted up, punching through the gap. Last visual. Vance saluted the burning wrecks. Calm, methodical. Vekra's hologram vanished. Silence fell on the command deck. Soren stared at the dead feeds. Data poured in fragments. Human improvisation inverted every doctrinal assumption. Walkers had perfect aim, until the humans fought where the walkers couldn't look. The equation finished, but not as planned. Precision walkers reformed at ravine edge. Soren Kel vectored them down again, arrays glowing hot. Suppress and advance. Equation demands closure. Vance's squad hugged the walls. Shadows hid them from elevated sweeps. She signaled low crawl. Underneath. Cut him at the knees. Marines bellied forward. Knives bit cables. Sparks flew. One walker's leg locked mid-stride, toppled into a stalker cluster. Rook scavenged fast. Breaching charge reshaped with strut shrapnel, shaped for the win. Slapped it home. Blast ripped skyward. Walker strut imploded. Fell into its own line, dominoes of alloy and fire. Soren overrode. Stun webs deploy. Nets dropped perfect, snared flanks. Rook's flak cloud countered. Webs burned. Chaos reigned. Vance pressed. Slugs found joints. Walkers died doctrine-bound. Fireball finale. Humans escaped. Soren's validation shattered. No. Rewind the sim. Data lied. Soren replayed feeds. Vance's calm orders. Rook's jumped to weapon alchemy. Humans treated improv as procedure. Vekra demanded report. Model failed? Validated, Soren said. Humans exceeded. But the ravine test looped in his mind. Walkers aimed true, until humans went low. Lesson etched, doctrine blinds. Soren Kel pushed harder. Walkers flooded the ravine. Beams carved stone. Vance dove under. Squad sliced cables. Walkers blinded. Rook's charge dropped one into struts. Carnage. Stun webs fell. Rook flacked them apart. Vance's fire team flanked. Victory snatched. Humans rolled out. Soren's battalion smoked. The walkers had perfect aim. Until the humans fought where the walkers couldn't look. Equation solved. Aliens lost. Word count 1348. Wait. No metadata. Pure prose. Wait. Cut that. Pure. Dot beats. Pulley. Soren's fingers flew across the console. Soren's fingers flew across the console. Walkers plunged deeper. End it. Vance led the underbelly rush. Cables severed. Chaos. Roots blast. Walker down. Webs shredded. Push. Win. Hook lands. To hit Tactician Adjunct Soren Kell slammed his claw on the command panel. Detachment Theta. Strip Lieutenant Mara Vance of all standard-issue weapons. Confine her to Validation Bay Gamma. 9. No exceptions. The view screen flickered. 2 hulking Kresh guards seized Vance's arms. They ripped away her pulse carbine, sidearm, and grenade bandolier. She stood calm, eyes scanning the bay as they patted her down. Doctrine predicted this. Unarmed humans defaulted to surrender protocols. Clear, the lead guard crackled over comms. They shoved her inside. The blast door hissed shut. Energy wards hummed to life around the perimeter. Soren nodded. Perfect execution. The bay's stun web emitters sat primed above the door. Non-lethal mesh launchers calibrated for human physiology. Validation Test 1, confirm human infantry capitulated without tools. His combat model demanded it. He turned to the observation deck. Field Marshal Bekrathal loomed at the viewport, mandibles clicking impatience. Flanking her stood 12 battalion analysts, pads glowing with data streams, all eyes fixed on the feed. Observers, note positions, Soren announced. We test core theorem. Humans fight within predictable envelopes. Lieutenant Fitport. Vance enters disarmed. Door opens on schedule. Stun webs deploy. Subject neutralized for steady. Vekra's optics narrowed. Make it clean, Adjunct. My battalion deploys against human remnants tomorrow. No deviations tolerated. Soren's Vance hissed agreement. He synced his console. Timer ticked. 2 minutes to protocol breach simulation. On the feed, Vance paced the bay. She paused at a shadowed maintenance locker, standard junk for repair drones. Her hand brushed it. Soren dismissed the motion. Harmless inventory. Sealants. Rags, obsolete human relics from prior captures, no threat vectors. Model holds, an analyst murmured. Surrender posture at 87%. Soren checked emitter status. Green across the board. He signaled the tech. Open the bay door. Servo's word. The door panels ground apart. Vance spun. Both hands flashed from her coveralls. Twin revolvers gleamed. Ancient chemical propellant slug throwers. Contraband from some forgotten raid. Cylinders spun empty and Soren's magnified feed. No. She had checked them earlier. Palmed them slick from the locker while guards sealed the outer ward. She double-actioned hammers. Muzzles barked twice. Slugs punched the door control nexus. Sparks erupted. The panels froze half open. Stun webs fizzled mid-deploy. Emitters shorted. Nets dangling limp. Observers recoiled. Vekra bellowed. What primitive filth. Vance rolled low. She snap-fired left revolver at the lead guard's knee joint. Kresh armor buckled. The warrior toppled, clutching ceramite shards. Soren's console blared alarms. Containment breach. Deploy suppression teams. Too slow. Vance's right revolver cycled. Slugs hammered the second guard's faceplate. Visor cracked. He convulsed, clawing for his beamer. She vaulted his falling bulk. Hit the corridor at sprint. Boots pounded grated deck. Improvisation baseline, she muttered. Voice calm over scavenged squad comm. No panic. Procedure. Soren stabbed the alert. Battalion walkers mobilized. 6-legged enforcers. Beam arrays hot. His model adjusted. Armed, human, low yield. Walkers would pin her. Vance ducked into a service junction. She kicked a panel loose. Exposed power couplings sparked. With left revolver butt, she smashed a conduit. Sparks jumped. Emergency lights strobed. First walker clanked into view. Primary beam swept the corridor. Doctrine locked its targeting. High center mass. Vance went low. She slid under the chassis. Right revolver barked upward. Slugs ricocheted off belly plating. Harmless. No. She aimed for flex joints. One hit, hydraulics hissed. Leg buckled. The walker slewed. Beams carved bulkhead instead. Soren's feed split. Multiple angles. Flank her. Webs from vents. Observers typed furiously. Vekra's claws gouged her station. Your model, adjunct. Validate it. Vance didn't flank. She climbed, used the limping walker's leg as ladder, reached the turret housing, jammed revolver barrel into a sensor cluster. Fired. Optics shattered. Walker blindly thrashed. Second walker charged. Vance leaped across, landed atop it. Overload popped. Plasma vented in a fireball. Shrapnel peppered the corridor. Soren's vents choked on acrid smoke from vents. Suppressant drones! Flood the sector! But Vance dropped into a side bay. She palmed a loose plasma cell from a wrecked drone. Jury-rigged it to her empty left cylinder with locker wire. Chemical propellant met alien power core. Hybrid load. Unstable, but hot. Third walker loomed. Vance dual-fired. Right revolver standard slugs. Left. Plasma-boosted rounds. They vaporized a leg strut. Walker toppled into its sibling. Collision crumpled both. Analysts gasped. Deviation exceeds parameters by 400%. Vance pressed. She scavenged a guard's vibroclaw, strapped it to her forearm. Corridors rang with klaxons. Battalion squads converged. Kresh riflemen. Beamers primed. Soren vectored them. Encircle Bay Gamma cluster. Webs on cooldown. Use massed fire. Vance hit the main deck. Riflemen snap-fired. Beams scorched air. She rolled behind crates. Returned fire. Revolvers cycled dry. She discarded them. Grabbed a fallen beamer. Overcharged it with her hybrid cell. Grip burned her palm. She ignored. Overcharge beam lanced. 3 riflemen vaporized. Allies scattered. Vecra roared over open channel. Adjunct, your theorem crumbles. Deploy the full battalion. Soren complied. Walkers poured in. 8 now phalanx formation. Beams interlocked. Doctrine perfect grid. Vance went under again. Crawled deck plates. Vibro claw sliced access hatches. She yanked fuel lines. Ignited them with beamer flash. Flames jetted upward. Walkers halted, joints melting. Riflemen fired blind. Vance emerged behind lines. Beamer swept. 5 down. Soren's screen filled with red icons. Impossible. She's one soldier. A new signal pinged. Human squad comm. Lieutenant, Rook here. Breached our bay. Coming hot. Sergeant. So. Ilya Rook burst from a side hatch. He hefted a scavenged flak launcher, cobbled from drone parts and guard munitions. Junk's gold, ma'am. Vance nodded. Blank low. Webs incoming. Walkers pivoted. Rook fired. Flak cloud bloomed. Shrapnel shredded sensor pods. Blinded, the machines fired wild. Vance charged. Vibroclaw severed a turret. Rook's second shot dropped a walker into its own beam array. Fireball engulfed 3 more. Riflemen rallied. Stun webs dropped from ceiling vents. Protocol override. Rook laughed. Black it! His launcher barked. Clouds ate the nets. Webs burned midair. Vance sliced through the last phalanx. Rook covered. They pushed to the observation deck. Soren backed from his console. Vecra drew her command blade. Halt, humans! Your primitives fail here. Vance kicked the door. Beamer leveled. Your model's the primitive. Rook flanked. Flak ready. Observers froze. Battalion remnants smoked. Soren's mandibles worked silently. The revolvers, obsolete junk, had shattered the equation. Humans didn't fight the model. They rewrote it. Vance's eyes locked on Vecra. Surrender behavior. Try ours. Their combat theory failed the moment she drew 2 revolvers. Vance surged forward. Revolvers cracked in unison. Vecra twisted aside. Slugs hammered her command console. Shrapnel peppered the field marshal's carapace. Soren Kell scrambled back, mandibles gaping. His observers froze mid-click. Rook! Corridor now, Vance barked. Sergeant. Ilya Rook pivoted from the flank. His scavenged flak launcher swung level. On it, LT! Alien riflemen poured from the deck's far archway. Beams lanced out. Protocol perfect. Distance maintained at 20 meters. Vance didn't give them the range. She charged straight into the corridor mouth. Boots pounded grated deck. Revolver spat fire. The lead alien's chest plate shattered. It crumpled, beam rifle clattering. Point-blank angles formed. Humans owned the choke. Vance slid under a wild beam. Her left revolver bucked up. Slug tore through an alien's mandible hinge. It screamed, clawing at its face. The squad behind jammed up. Doctrine demanded spread formation, not this crush. Rook Bull rushed beside her. He shoulder-checked a drone operator mid-deploy. The alien hit the bulkhead hard. Its targeting wand flew free. Rook snatched it mid-air. Mine! He jammed the wand into his flak launcher's jury-rigged receiver. Sparks flew. The launcher whined to life, now slave to alien drone targeting. Beams scorched the walls. Vance rolled behind a fallen rifleman. Heat singed her sleeve. She popped up, double-tapped 2 more. Bodies piled. The corridor narrowed to killbox. Aliens fired in controlled bursts, but humans ate the distance. 5 meters. 3. "Flak 'em, Sergeant!" Vance yelled. Rook grinned through the smoke. "Drones first." He thumbed the wand. Hijacked signals pinged, sealing drones hummed, then dove, straight into their own squad. Explosions ripped through the aliens. Limbs flew. Rook followed with flak burst. Shrapnel clouds shredded the survivors' optics. Vance pressed. Her revolvers clicked empty. She holstered one, drew her vibro knife, sliced a beam rifle from alien claws, reversed it, butt-stroked the owner down. Reloading hot. Rook slapped fresh casings into his launcher. Webs inbound. Sealing vents. Stun webs deployed. Protocol override. Sticky filaments rained. Vance dodged left. Knife hacked a strand mid-drop. Rook's flak cloud ignited them. Flames whooshed. Aliens recoiled, beams firing blind. From the observation deck, Soren Kell slammed his console. Red icons swarmed his screen. Human signatures overlapped his battalion's remnants. Distance reestablishment, now. He triggered bulkheads. "Segment them! Protocol Delta 7. Deck plates groaned. Corridor walls shuddered. Massive slabs slammed down from ceiling and floor. Steel pins locked with hydraulic hisses. The lead bulkhead dropped between Vance and the alien reserves, trapping her squad in the forward kill zone. Vance spun, the slab sealed inches from her nose. Beyond, alien eyes gleamed through vision slits. Beams poked through firing ports. She ducked. Slag spat from the deck. "LT!" Rook yelled. He fired flak into the slits. Clouds muffled the beams. Vance scanned the seam. Rivets gleamed. Lock pins protruded. Standard alloy 3-centimeter heads. Her revolver barked. Slug ricocheted. Wrong angle. She jammed the barrel direct into the seam gap. Metal screeched. "Rook, cover!" He did. Flak bloomed. Drones buzzed. Slave to his wand. Vance squeezed. Revolver thundered. Slug sheared the top pin. Bulkhead groaned. Second shot. Middle pin vaporized. Sparks flew. Third. Bottom pin snapped. The slab buckled. Vance kicked. It swung open on tortured hinges. Aliens behind recoiled. Beams flashed wild. She charged through. Revolvers reloaded mid-stride. Double tap dropped the port gunners. Rook flanked, wand directing drones into the fray. Explosions chained, corridor filled with smoke and screams. Soren Kell's mandibles trembled. His model collapsed. Humans ignored spread, ignored distance. Obsolete projectiles jammed mechanisms. Improvised signals hijacked drones. "Field Marshal." Reinforcements to auxiliary bays. Bekrathal snarled from the deck. Her command blade hummed. "No deviations. Validate the theory." But Vance heard none of it. She vaulted a drone wreck. Knife plunged into an alien's neck joint. It gurgled, dropped. Rook's flak shredded the next phalanx. They pushed deeper. Bulkhead after bulkhead yielded to revolver shots and scavenged hacks. An alien heavy pivoted at the junction. Its beam cannon charged. Distance ideal, 15 meters. Vance hurled her empty revolver. It clanged off the sensor cluster. Blinded, the heavy fired wide. Rook's wand-slave drone kamikazed into the barrel. Overload boomed. Shrapnel scythed the crew. Vance snatched a fallen beam rifle. Tested the grip, weird ergonomics, but trigger universal. She fired. Controlled bursts. Aliens scattered. "LT, junction clear," Rook called. He hefted a second wand. Twin signals now boosting his launcher. "Got their net. All drones ours." Vance nodded. Smoke cleared. Battalion remnants huddled at corridor's end. Soren's voice crackled over speakers. "Humans, yield. Your primitives cannot." She shot the speaker. Sparks silenced him. Primitives win close. Push. They advanced. Aliens fired desultory beams. Doctrine frayed. One broke ranks, charged with claws. Vance sidestepped. Knife ended it. Rook flacked the rest. Vecker burst from a side hatch. Command blade arced. You rewrite nothing. Vance parried with the beam rifle. Sparks flew. Vecra pressed. Faster, stronger. Blade nicked Vance's arm. Blood welled. Pain flared. Rook's flak whined. He held fire. Too close. Vance dropped low. Tackled Vecra's legs. They crashed. Blade skittered. Vance mounted. Revolver pressed to throat gap. Models broken. Vecra's eyes widened. Mandibles stilled. Soren Kell rushed in. Observers flanked him. His data slate clattered. Impossible. Revolvers. Wands. Bulkheads. Rook covered them. Drones hummed overhead. Surrender, bug! Or flak. Soren's claws clicked surrender. Vecra nodded once. Blades dropped. Vance rose, holstered her revolver. The twin that started it all. Battalion comms went silent. Human squad comm pinged open. Command, this is Vance. Bay secured. Hostiles neutralized or surrendered. Rook slapped her shoulder. Junk's gold LT. Told ya. She scanned the corridor. Wreckage smoked. Alien eyes stared. Awed. Broken. Their tactics demanded distance. She'd turned every meter into a liability, but Soren's slate beeped. Reinforcements inbound. Real ones. Orbital drop. Vance reloaded. Rook, rig those bulkheads. We hold the deck. He grinned. Improv time. SOIN watched. Mandible slack. Humans didn't fight the model. They owned the rewrite. Vance leveled her revolver at the next hatch. Trigger finger itched. Come test the equation. Deeper alarms wailed. The real fight brewed. Aliens learn slow. Humans? They adapted now. From the viewport, drop pods streaked. Vecra hissed. You cannot hold. Vance smiled. Watch. Rook's launcher barked. Drones swarmed out. Wand signals hijacked the first pod mid-descent. It veered, slammed siblings. Fireball lit the bay. Soren's screen filled red again. They rewrite mid-combat. Vance charged the hatch. Revolvers ready. Point blank waited. Their doctrine died here. Human practicality reloaded. Soren Kell slammed his slate against the bulkhead console. Power surged. Autonomous turrets whirred online across the forward bay grid. 6 nests. Phased plasma arrays locked and hungry. His mandibles clicked triumph. Containment protocols engaged. Human squad pinned at 90 to 4% success. The model held. Monitors flickered. Lieutenant Mara Vance kicked the hatch wide. Her squad poured in. Revolvers barking, scavenged wands sparking alien drone overrides. Soren's claws tightened. They moved wrong. Too fluid. No cover drills. No suppressive bursts. Just advance. Turrets acquired. First plasma lance vaporized Rook's shoulder plate. Human yelped. Rolled. Vance ducked a beam that scorched her boot. Coolant main! Rook, cover! Her voice cut through static. Calm like ordering chow. Saurian's display tallied hits. 87% lethality. Acceptable variance. He keyed the log. Subjects deviate minimally. Weapon superiority enforces doctrine. Vecra would validate this. Clean data for the battalion sims. Vance lunged for a service panel. No. She gripped a cryoline valve. Twisted hard. Coolant gushed. White fog exploding across the deck. Slippery ice sheet formed instant. Turrets slewed. Servos whining. Arcs blind in vapor. She dropped. Slid feet first under the lowest turret cradle. Plasma bolts scorched air above her helmet. Inches clear. Soren's primary optic widened. Impossible. Friction model. Vance reached the junction box. Priber jammed the hatch. Wires sparked. Rook laid fire. Revolver cracked precise. Shattered a turret lens.
Got your window, LT!
Soren overrode. Manual target lock. Prioritize female. Turrets compensated. Ice cracked under recoil, but Vance yanked cables. No. She looped a feed line. Sergeant. Rook vaulted a crate, alien wand in teeth. He hit the deck beside her claws. Human fingers. Ripping turret power bus. Feedback loop. LT. Junk's perfect. Rook spliced the plasma conduit back into the fire control node. Turrets stuttered. First one fired. Bolt looped internal. Circuits fried. Second followed. Self-inflicted plasma bloom. Mounts melted. One by one, nests turned on themselves. Explosions chained. Grid dark. Soren's slate screamed overload. Zero containment. Mandibles gaped. Humans rewired his weapons. Obsolete human tools. Revolvers. Wrenches. Toppled doctrine. He clawed the alert. Anomaly. Immediate purge required. Deck shuddered. Field Marshal Vecra Thal stormed the command overlook. Her crest flared crimson. Status rage. Adjunct. Report. Claws slashed his shoulder plate. Pain lanced. Soren bowed low. Marshal. Human breach. Turrets. Compromised. They induced feedback. Model fails at silence. Vecra scanned the shutdown grid. Wreckage smoked. Human squad regrouped amid slag. Vance holstered her pistol. Scanned exits. Rook grinned. Slapped a rigged bulkhead charge. Casual. As if turrets jammed daily. Vecra's comm hissed. Orbital drop complete. Battalion deploys. Purge assault. Now, she signaled. Hatches cycled. Pressure assault troops boiled in. 200 blades. Pulse lances primed. Doctrine pure. Overwhelm at distance. No quarter. Soren's monitors split feeds. Humans didn't retreat. Vance waved Rook forward. Bulkheads first. Pods inbound. Hijack those feeds. Rook nodded. Yanked deck plates. Scavenged rods became braces. Wires rerouted to ship power. Crusher charged. Lances lit the bay. First rank shredded a drone swarm. Human hijacked, exploding on contact. Vance fired from hip. Revolver barked. Headshots dropped leaders. Precise. No spray. Rook's launcher boomed. Improvised flak shredded flanks. Soren calculated. Crusher superiority. Numbers. Range. Humans countered. Vance slid behind a turret husk. Used slag as shield. Coolant residue refroze under lance heat, sharding into frag grenades. She hurled one. Kreshar cluster pulped. Regiment halt! Vecra bellowed. But Doctrine locked them. Advance or die shamed. Troops pressed. Rook laughed. Blunt. Feral. LT. Got juice. Bulkhead boom incoming. He thumbed detonator. Charges blew. Corridors collapsed selective. Funneled Kreshar into kill boxes. Vance flanked. Revolvers emptied. Reload mid-stride. Twin pistols chewed elites. Soren's slate projected. Purge fails. Casualties 92% projected. He pinged Vecra. Marshal, withdraw. Rewrite engagement. Her crest spiked. You question doctrine? Claws raked his console. Sparks flew. Witness validation. Drop pods, slammed decks below. Real reinforcements. Vecra's elites. But human wand signals flashed.
Rook's rig. Pods veered wild.
Collision cascade. Fireballs lit viewports. Vance vaulted wreckage. Reached a lance rifle. Kicked it active. No human weapon. She jury-rigged the stock with coolant hose. Stabilized. Fired bursts. Overcharged. Punched Kreshar armor. Soren staggered back. Humans treated ship as toolbox. Every obsolete scrap lethal. His model shattered. They fought chaos. Improvised victory. Vecra drew her command blade. Adjunct, with me. Close assault. She charged ramp. Dozen guards followed. Soren gripped his slate. Only weapon left. Doctrine demanded he follow. Bay devolved. Crusher blades clashed revolvers. Point-blank slaughter. Vance parried a thrust. Pistol butt cracked mandible. Rook wrestled a lance. Reversed it. Impaled two. Vecra hit the deck. Blade arced for Vance. Human ends. Vance sidestepped. Coolant slick saved her. Vecra slipped. Vance's revolver pressed temple. Yield. Vecra froze. Crest wilted. Guards halted. Soren halted too. Watched. Model complete failure. Humans humble? No. Practical. Unbreakable. Rook bound survivors. Dex hours LT. Next. Vance. Scanned feeds. More pods inbound. Untampered. Rig the grid. Hold. Serene's mandibles worked. You. Rewrite everything. Vance glanced. Calm eyes. We adapt. You plan. Alarms peaked. Final purge wave breached outer hatches. Blades screamed. Vance reloaded. Rook, feedback those lances. Make 'em taste plasma. He grinned. I.
Durin clutched his slate. Too late.
Doctrine died. Human ingenuity. Reloaded. Turrets never missed. until the humans made them shoot themselves to death. Now lances followed. Vekra's eyes widened. The equation flipped. The talion broke. Shock troops poured through the breached hatches, their Kreshar blades humming with plasma edges. Boots thundered down the corridor network, sealing off every junction. Soren Kell pressed against the bulkhead as the wave surged past, his slate clutched like a shield. Field Marshal Vakrathal's voice crackled over his comm implant, sharp even in defeat. "No more experiments!" she snarled. "Flood the vents! Crush the ducts! Bury these humans under our mass. Doctrine resumes." Now. Soren's crests flattened. He had watched her yield, revolver cold against her temple. Rook had bound her guards, but Fall's implant bypassed capture. Remote overrides kicked in. Turrets realigned. Pods deployed fresh battalions from orbit. The bay secured behind them, but the ship twisted into a kill maze. He tapped his slate, feeds flickering. Human signatures darted. Vance, Rook, a handful of squad mates diving into maintenance ducts. Shock troops sealed grates, pumped gas. Soren's mandibles worked silently. His model predicted surrender under pressure. Humans broke. They didn't. Fall's bound form glared from the feed, dragged to a holding frame by Rook's rough hands. "Adjunct Kell," she hissed into open comms. "Lead the vanguard. Validate the flood tactic. No deviations." Soren hesitated. Deviations had lost them the bay. Humans turned scrap to shrapnel. He glanced at his slate sim. 92% purge success, but Vance's path glowed erratic, improvising. Acknowledged, Marshal. He gripped a shock lance from a fallen guard. Doctrine demanded advance. Lieutenant Mara Vance crawled through the duct's oily confines, revolver holstered, toolkit scraping metal. Alarms wailed behind. Shock troops' boots vibrated the grate above. Hundreds by the thunder. "Rook, status," she whispered into her squad net. Sergeant Ilya Rook's voice grunted back, muffled by his own duct. 3 tangos down, LT. Wired their grenades to the grate triggers. Squads peeling off. 2 KI. Holding. Keep it tight. Choke point Delta. 7.
5 mics. Scavenge fuel cells on site.
Vance sliced a panel with her multi-tool. Sparks flew. A loose power conduit dangled. Perfect. She yanked coolant lines, siphoned vapor into a scavenged canister. Maintenance ducts webbed the ship like veins. Aliens planned for grand assaults, not rat runs. Humans lived here. She wedged the canister into a junction box, rigged a crude timer from a wristcock shard. 10 minutes. Fuel air mix would bloom hot. Suck oxygen. Shred unarmored lungs. Shock troops wore blades. Not full seals. Formation breakers. Bootsteps echoed closer. Vance dropped into a service bay, pistol drawn. 2 scouts probed the hatch. She fired. Crack, crack. Head snapped back. Rook burst from a side vent, wrench in hand. "Got the cells," he said, dumping 3 humming packs. "Rigged feedback loops already. Their lances'll cook on draw." Vance nodded. "Stack 'em here. Ambushes first. Boom second." They dragged corpses aside, stripped blades. Rook twisted lance grips, overclocked plasma coils with jury-rigged resistors. Weapons turned boomerangs. Shock troops hit the first grate. Grenades popped, wired ones. Shrapnel shredded legs. Screams echoed. Vance picked off stragglers through slits. Practical. No waste. Soren Kell advanced with the vanguard, lance humming. Feeds showed ambushes lighting up. Traps in every duct mouth. Casualties mounted. 15%, then 28%. His slate beeped warnings. Humans retreated in echelon, bleeding the flood. "Adjunct!" A sub-officer waved from a junction. "Gas deployed. They scatter." Soren checked the model. Scattered prey died piecemeal, but Vance's signature held formation. Optimizing, he overrode a bulkhead cam. There, Vance in the service bay, wiring fuel cells. Rook beside her grinning like a predator. No panic. Methodical. Mandibles clenched. Doctrine assumed fear fractured humans. It forged them. Baal's comm pierced the din. "Report, Kell. Why the delay?" "Marshal, the humans." Surin paused. "Orders banned experiments, but truth overrode. They optimize under pressure. Traps from scrap. Flood pushes them to invention. Pull back, reform lines. Silence. Then fury. Disobedience."
"You taint my victory! Advance or join the bound!"
Soren's crests burned. Model shattered twice now. He keyed private channel to her implant. "Watch Delta. 7 feeds. They rig fuel air, formation break imminent. Adapt or lose the battalion. You dare lecture doctrine? Ball's voice cracked, but feeds linked, she saw. Vans sealed the last ambush. Ducks hummed with alien boots. Main force committed, blades high for close assault. Choke point delta. 7 narrowed to a single hatch, funneled by bulkheads. Perfect killbox. Timer set, she said. 8 mics to bloom. Fall back to secondary. Rook slapped a rigged lance into her hand. Feedback primed. Pull trigger. It arcs plasma back at him. Squad melted into shadows. 6 left, grim-faced. Vance covered rear. First shock platoon hit the choke. Blade slashed air. She squeezed. Lance whined, overloaded. Plasma jet reversed. Torched the front rank. Screams. Bodies fused to deck. Troops jammed the hatch. Blades thrusting blind. Rook's traps popped. Coolant bursts slicked the floor. Aliens slipped impaled kin. Vance's revolver barked. Precise headshots. Practical fire. Soren reached the junction. Feeds lied. Live view. Chaos funnel. Humans picked apart the flood. His lance felt heavy. Marshal, evacuate Delta. 7, he broadcast. Vanguard froze, mandibles gaping. Thal's response snarled open. Hold! Crush. Timer hit 0. Fuel cells ruptured. Canister vented vapor. Whoosh. Ignition followed. Fuel-air fireball roared through the choke. 2,000 degrees. Shock troops flash-burned, armor cracking. Oxygen starved. Line shattered. Survivors bolted. Formation gone. Blades dropped. Panic stampede clogged corridors. Vance felt the heat blast past, singe her sleeve. Squad hunkered in sealed vent. Clear. Rook chuckled. Bugs brought an army. We brought the timer. Soren staggered from the overpressure. Feeds whited out. Casualties. 47%. Battalion fractured. Ball's channel went silent. Shock. Or worse, he dropped his slate. Humans didn't fight the model. They built their own. Vance emerged into smoke. Feeds showed aliens routing, blades abandoned, ship's grid flickered. Hers now. Rook. Secure the bridge path. We end this. He nodded, hefting a fresh-rigged lance. Aliens underestimated junkyards. Humans called it home. Soren turned from the rout. Doctrine died in fire. He raised empty claws. Surrender waited. But Vance's voice echoed over hacked comms. Calm. Yield now, or we improvise more. The ship trembled. Human ingenuity reloaded. Again. Thal's crest wilted in the holding frame light years from glory. Shock troops, her army, broke on a timer. Soren Kell lunged from the smoke, pulse carbine leveled at Lieutenant Marabance's chest. His mandibles clicked sharp. Human anomaly. Surrender. Your primitives end here. Vance stood firm at the comms mast, revolvers loose in her grip. Smoke curled from the fuel air blast behind her. Alien blades littered the deck. She scanned his stance, rigid, doctrine perfect. No room for error in his model. Terms, she said. Voice level. Kell thrust a data slate forward. Yield the ship. Your squad disarms. We dissect your tactics. Clean resolution. His shock troops massed at the corridor mouth, lances humming. 50 meters back, more poured in. Vance tallied them. 200 reforming ranks. Her squad held the flanks. 8 humans against the battalion. She holstered one revolver slow, eyed the transmitter clipped to his harness. Captured human tech. Jury-rigged alien. Deal. Revolvers for that. Kell's optics narrowed. Humans bartered under gunpoint? Anomalous. He snatched the offered pair, claws clamping steel. Solid. Primitive. Transmit your yield. Vance slid the transmitter free. Thumbed it live. Alien feeds crackled nearby, hacked open by Rook's earlier hack. She keyed her grid reference. Precise. Her position. Fire base Delta. This is Vance. Grid Echo 9 or 2. Danger close. Ordnance now. Kell's mandibles froze. What? Explosions rocked the hull. Not ship guns. External barrage. Human artillery screamed in from orbit. Relentless. Unjammable. Down! Vance yelled. Sergeant Ilya Rook exploded from cover, meaty hands grabbing her squad. Trench! Move! He yanked Privet. Ellis first, then shoved the rest toward a maintenance trench half buried in debris. Vance sprinted last. Rook heaved scavenged plating, ripped from bulkheads, over the lip. Welded it shut with a plasma torch scavenged from a downed drone. Sparks flew, seal held, shells slammed the deck, comms mast vaporized. Kel's troops shattered, lances firing wild as shockwaves buckled armor. Plating groaned above Vance, squad huddled tight. Dirt sifted. Heat baked through seams. Rook grinned in the gloom. Your call, LT. They eat their own model now. Vance nodded. Grid's theirs. We chose the menu. Barrage peaked. Hull trembled. Alien screams pierced the den. Mandibles no match for 155. 5mm hay. Vance felt the overpressure punch. Plating bowed but held. Rook seal. Junk into bunker. Silence fell. Feeds flickered on her wrist unit. Alien formation. Gone. Craters pocked the bay. Troops staggered. Lances dropped. Survivors clustered, optics dazed. Kel's voice boomed over open channel. Ceasefire. All units, ceasefire. Negotiate! Vance kicked the plating loose. Smoke billowed. She climbed out. Revolvers gone, but purpose sharp. Squad fanned behind Rook. Rifles ready. Aliens knelt amid wreckage. Rigid lines broken. Kel staggered forward, carbine slung. Crest low. You called fire on yourself. Standard procedure, Vance said. Your doctrine pinned us. We unpinned. His claws flexed empty. Shock troops gaped. Humans walked from the kill zone unscathed. No blades drawn. No charge. Just survival. Marshal Thal demands parley. Kel broadcast. Static answered. Thal's channel dead, buried in the barrage. Rook snorted. Parley? After their bug out? Vance raised the transmitter.
Yield the ship, or next grid's yours.
Kel hesitated. Feeds replayed the route. Troops flash burned earlier, now cratered. Humans improvised. Aliens modeled. Model failed. He dropped his slate. Yield. Troops lowered lances. Vance advanced. Squad secured the massed remnants. Comms live. Bridge path clear. Rook rigged fresh charges from debris. Aliens watched, mandibles slack. Humanity didn't outgun. They outthought, and chose the end. She didn't win by outgunning them. She won by choosing where the battle ended. Vance keyed the bridge channel. Rook, advance. We own it now. But Kel's optics fixed on her. One question lingered in his stance. How? Doctrine promised victory. Humans promised adaptation. Thal's voice crackled faint from a survivor's comm. Adjunct. Report. Kel turned. Model invalid, Marshal. Humans fight. Outside. Silence. Then, evacuate. Ship shuttered. Escape pods launched. Vance's squad pushed forward. Improvisation reloaded. Rook hefted his lance rig. Bugs learned quick. Not quick enough, Vance said. Bridge doors hissed open, empty command deck. Alien pride. Shattered. Vance claimed the console. Human hands on alien steel. Squad cheered low. Victory. Not domination. Collaboration forced. Kel lingered at the hatch, watching. His slate blank. New data. Humans turned traps into trenches. Threats into trades. Doctrine evolved. Or died. Vance glanced back. Join us, tactician, or model more graves. He clicked mandibles. Thought. Stepped aboard. Ship turned human. War turned lesson. Soren Kel's claws twitched as Vance's squad swept the bridge. Humans moved like water, fluid, unmodeled. His troops milled outside, awaiting orders. Thal's evac left him in charge. Anomalous command. Vance manned the console. Fingers danced. Ship's guns swiveled. Now human aligned. You fight without theory, he said. She met his gaze. Theory's a crutch. We adapt. Rook sealed hatches with plating scraps.
Your shock troops? Good at charges.
We got better exits. Kel accessed feeds. Replay. Vance's grid call. Her own position. Squad vanished into trench. Barrage hit perfect. Casualties. 73% now. His battalion. Ghosts. Humans. Humble. Competent. No boasts, just results. Marshal underestimated. Kel admitted. Junk as weapons. Self-risk. Vance nodded.
You boxed us. We broke the box.
Ship accelerated. Human firebase loomed on scopes. Ailey now. Aliens learned. Rigidity cracked under improv. Kel raised claws. I validate your model. Squad tensed. Vance waved them down. No models, just fight smart. Bridge hummed. Human ingenuity piloted. Alien doctrine, archived. Thal's pod streaked away. Glory lost. Kel watched scopes. Humans won collaboration. He chose survival. Vance plotted course. Homeward, ship jumped, lesson sealed.
Back on Firebase Delta.
Vance debriefed. Rook nursed a burn. Squad whole. LT called it danger close, Ellis said. Balls of steel, Rook laughed. Steel? Nah. Plating. Vance smiled faint. Artillery chief clapped her shoulder. Grid Echo 9 or 2. Clean hit. Kel stood apart. Slate rebuilding data. Humans integrated him. No purge. Offered insight. Your weapons systems, he said. Superior in flexibility. Vance shrugged. Yours too. Blades in close. We just mix. Collaboration. Balance. Humans taught. Aliens listened. War story spread. One soldier, one call, one trench. Aliens routed. HFY etched in stars. Improv over doctrine, always.